Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into some really mind-bending ideas from the book The Art of Possibility. This is all about these simple, practical ways to completely shift how you see the world, moving from a place of struggle to one of, well, infinite potential.
All right, let's just jump right in with this great story. Picture this. A shoe company sends two scouts to Africa, right? The first one wires back a telegram that says, "Situation hopeless, stop. No one wears shoes." But the second scout, looking at the exact same thing, sends back this message: "Glorious business opportunity, stop. They have no shoes." I mean, think about that. Same set of facts, but two totally different worlds.
And that little story perfectly sets up our first big idea. It's all invented. Now, this isn't some fluffy, just think positive thing. No, it's way deeper. It's the idea that the reality you experience is actually a story, a framework that you build in your own head, often based on assumptions you don't even know you're making.
Okay, check this out. It's a classic puzzle you've probably seen before. The challenge is simple. Connect all 9 of these dots. You've got 4 straight lines to do it, and you can't lift your pen off the paper. Go ahead, take a second. How would you do it?
So, did you figure it out? Here's the thing. Most people, their first instinct is to try and stay inside that square shape the dots make, right? But here's the trick. There is no box. That box is something we just invented in our own minds. The puzzle is impossible until you realize you've created a rule that doesn't exist. The only way to solve it is to literally go outside the lines you've drawn for yourself. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Since we are the ones inventing these frameworks, these boxes that shape our world, that means we have a choice. We can keep inventing stories that hold us back, or we can start inventing ones that open up a whole new world of possibilities and actually empower us. So, how do you actually do this? Well, here are 2 really simple but powerful questions to get you started. First, just ask yourself, what's an assumption I'm making right now that I'm not even aware of? And then, once you see it, you ask the second question. Okay, what's a new story I could invent that would give me way more choices? It's like being able to redraw your own map of reality. Okay, so this whole idea that we invent our reality, it leads us to a really fascinating fork in the road. The authors say we can basically choose to live in one of 2 very different worlds. One they call the world of measurement, and the other the universe of possibility.
So you've got these 2 sides, right? On one side, there's the world of measurement. This is the world of comparison, of not enough, of just trying to survive. But on the other side, you've got the universe of possibility, a totally different space where abundance, creativity, and contribution are the name of the game. And let's be real, most of us, probably without even thinking about it, wake up every single day in that world of measurement. You know what it feels like. It's that constant struggle to get ahead, the feeling that there's never enough to go around, and you're always kind of looking over your shoulder, comparing yourself to everyone else.
But here's the cool part. We can actually choose to step out of that world and into the universe of possibility. And in this world, everything shifts. The focus isn't on what you can get anymore, it's on what you can create and what you can contribute. It's a world built on abundance, not scarcity, and life just becomes, well, more creative and a lot more fun. This really nails the difference. It's not saying, hey, don't have goals. Of course not. It's about changing your entire approach. So instead of that desperate, grinding effort, you set a bigger context, a vision, and then you get to play with what happens next, making connections, taking some risks, and seeing what unfolds. All right, so this all sounds great, but how do we actually live in this universe of possibility? Well, one of the most powerful tools the book gives us is a practice called giving an A. And it all starts with this amazing idea from Michelangelo. He said that inside every block of stone, there's a beautiful statue just waiting to be revealed. You just have to chip away the extra stuff. The idea here is to see everyone like that, to see the potential, the masterpiece that's already inside them, even if it's buried under a bunch of uncut stone. So what does it actually mean to give an A? It's simple, really. It means you just stop measuring people. You stop judging them against your own personal ruler. Instead, you just give them an A right from the start. You treat them as if they are already that brilliant, capable, contributing person you believe they can be. And this story just illustrates the power of this so beautifully. There was a student who said that back home he was ranked number 68 out of 70 students. Ouch. But then his teacher, Mr. Zander, just gave him an A. The student was confused at first, but then he had this realization. Being an A is a much happier way to live than being number 68. So he just decided, okay, I am an A.
And this is so, so important. This A is not a grade. It's not an expectation they have to live up to. It's a possibility you're inviting them to step into. When you do this, it totally changes the game. Your relationships transform from being about judgment to being about partnership, about figuring out what amazing things you can accomplish together.
Okay, this brings us to our last practice, and this one is all about you. It's about tearing down those internal walls that stop us from seeing our own value and from really making the unique contribution that only we can make. The authors have this great name for something a lot of us deal with. They call it second fiddleitis. You know that little voice in your head, the one that whispers, why even bother? I'm just one person. What I do doesn't really matter. That's second fiddleitis.
A lot of the time, this self-doubt comes out as cynicism, right? We just get jaded. But check out this reframe. It's so powerful. A cynic is a passionate person who does not want to be disappointed again. Wow. So a cynic isn't someone who doesn't care. They're someone who cared so much they got hurt, and now they're just trying to protect themselves.
Let me tell you about Tanya. She was a violinist in this amazing, world-class orchestra. And one day, during a really tough rehearsal, she was just checked out, slumped in her chair, not engaged at all. It would have been so easy for the conductor to just get angry and write her off, right? But he didn't do that. Instead, he gave her an A. He walked over to her, assuming she was deeply passionate about the music, and just asked her what was going on. Turns out it was just a small technical issue she was struggling with, and by speaking to her passion instead of her apparent cynicism, he didn't just get Tanya back on board, he unlocked something in her that transformed the entire orchestra's performance.
So as we wrap this up, the real question isn't just, what did I learn? No, it's more of a challenge. Now that you know that your world is a story you get to invent, and that you have this incredible power to grant possibility to yourself and to everyone around you, what's one new possibility you're going to go out and invent today?